When you turn back and through in the golf swing, a lot of work is going on with your hips. Understanding how your hips move is critical to swinging the golf club well, because what happens with your lower body affects upper body and arms and club, and eventually the shots you're going to hit. If you're looking for a really simple solution, I'm probably not going to provide it, but I will explain exactly how the hips move and why their movement is so important in your swing. My name's Peter Knight, and I've created this channel to help you become the best golfer you possibly can be. Now, to make sure that you don't miss any of these videos, first of all, hit the subscribe button just on the screen here. And the second thing you can do is to also click the grey notification bell icon so that you are notified every time I put a video out, which is weekly. I'm often asked whether the hips turn or slide during the golf swing. And the fact is they do both, and they do both at the same time. And I'm talking the downswing. But there's also movement of the hips as the club goes back, and it's not as simple as saying just turn around the left hip or just turn around the right hip during the swing, because the hips are moving dynamically, and it's all related to how you change pressure and develop power in your golf swing as well. All these factors come into it. But we can look at some specific checkpoints. When I set myself up and begin my backswing, if I watch the movement of my right leg, as I start the backswing, my right leg appears to stay on the same line. Now my hips have turned. If I say turn around the center of my body, my right leg would appear to go toward the target. So as I'm turning, there must be some movement a little bit away from the target, but from a two-dimensional image, watching this way, you're not going to see that. The other thing is that if I turn around the center of my body, then pressure's not going to shift correctly to my back foot. So when I set myself up and swing the club back, I want the pressure to shift into my back foot, my right foot, and the look of the movement from where you're looking is that I've turned my hips without sliding them one way or the other. That's the first part, that's the backswing movement. So again, it's a little bit deceptive. Now because my hips turn, my left hip has sort of moved in a bit of a semicircle. So now my hips aren't square on. If I was at 90 degrees, my hips would look, much narrower. So again, there's all these looks and illusions and things like that because of the way that we actually move during the golf swing. From the top of my backswing, as I begin my downswing, I want to get the pressure into my front foot, into my left foot, as early as I can, only to a point where my left leg becomes vertical. So from the top of my swing, I'm going to allow the pressure to move into my left foot. Now, as I've done that, my hips have both turned and slid a little forward. Now, if we go right back to address and you have a look at how my left leg's positioned at address, it's not vertical, but it's not very far away from it. So in my downswing, yes, there's some slide, but there doesn't need to be very much slide to allow that left leg to become vertical and for the pressure to come into that left leg. So the movement that you're actually seeing, like I said, can be a little bit of an illusion, but if you're thinking, when I swing the club back, these are your two keys. When I swing the club back, I want the pressure to move into my right foot, maybe even 70 to 80%. As I do that, looking from front on, and if you're standing with your back to the sun, you can use your shadow cast out in front of you to monitor it. As I turn back, it appears that my right leg hasn't moved sideways. That's the first part. The second, as I begin my downswing, I want the pressure to move to my left foot as early as it can in the downswing, but only to a point where my left leg becomes vertical. So from here to here. And it all happens fairly quickly. Practicing that movement, so if I do it, say, without swinging a golf club, all I'm doing from my address position is turning my hips this way and turning through this way. Pressure shifting from foot to foot as I do it. But again, it's not a massive amount of hip movement. It's not a massive amount of knee movement. Not like when I saw videos and pictures of me swinging when I was a lot younger, which was, the days of the leg drive and everything like that. we know a little bit better now, and we know a lot better for our backs as well. So when you're swinging correctly, you will see that movement. Practice it, and I'll guarantee that you'll have a lot more stability and a lot more control with your shots.